Okay, I just want a show of hands. How many diabetics in the audience? Because I'm a diabetic, I've been thinking, that this is taking inordinately long. Oh, you are? So we should get, seriously, I'm not kidding, but yeah, thank you. Akkada. Honorable Minister for Home, Shri Mohammad Mehmood Ali Garu. Honorable Director General of Police, Shri Mahendra Reddy Garu. Principal Secretary Industries, Jayesh Ranjan Garu. CP Cyberabad, Stephen Ravindra Garu. Gauranilu, Scient Chairman and Founder, Shri BVR Mohan Reddy Garu. Chevella Parliament Sabbilu, Gauranilu, Dr. Ranjit Reddy Garu. Gauranilu, Sthanika Shasan Sabbilu, Arikapudi Gandhi Garu. Honorable MLC, Shri Naveen Garu. Director of IIT, Shri Murthy Garu. Director of Triple IT, PJ Narayanan Garu. High SIA President, Manisha Sabu. Rajiv from Microsoft. Of course, Home Secretary, Shri Ravi Gupta Garu. ACB DG, Anjani Kumar Sinha Garu. CP Hyderabad, CV Anand Garu. Jitendra Garu, Rajkonda CP Garu. Mahesh Bhagwat Garu. Ade vidhanga, all the distinguished members in the audience from industry, from media, and of course, all the police officers who are gathered here. Firstly, I thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for everything. Thank you for attending. Thank you for making this happen. Krishna, special thanks to you. I think you deserve a big round of applause along with Cyberabad CP. I think both of you, between the two of you, you've made this happen. My compliments, congratulations. I was just sharing a joke with Mohan Reddy Garu. Recently, we went through a by-election in our state, in Munugodu. Talking about cyber crime, talking about cyber security, etc. Cyber crime is not now confined to one sphere of life. Even in politics, it has come in. Voters are being lured by way of Google Pay and, sending money directly into the accounts of voters as well is happening. So I think new age crimes need new age solutions. So Election Commission of India may also need to be, engaged and involved, not just police and not just law enforcement, but also I think we need to start sensitizing Election Commission and others as well. But more importantly, I think, today, as DG pointed out, as Cyberabad CP pointed out, technology has become all permeating. It is permeating into all spheres of life. There's not a single sphere of life which is exempt. So if you look around, we live in a very, very interesting world. Our country is about 140 crore people. The number of devices, I think, outnumber us. Today, I think each of us sitting in this room possibly has more than one phone, I'm guessing. One for public usage, one for private usage, etc., etc. Now, and we also live in an interesting world because the technology is evolving so much that your phone, you can talk to your phone. There was a possibility, at one point of time, say 10 years ago, if somebody was talking to his phone, people would look at him like a pagal. They'd say, why is he talking to a device? But now, you can talk to Siri, Siri talks back to you, Alexa talks to you, you talk back to Alexa, she tells you what the temperature is, she plays music for you. Even in the car, there is a lady guiding you where to go, how to go, where the traffic is, where to avoid, etc., etc. So we live in a very interconnected world where devices talk to each other. Your refrigerator talks to your washing machine, which can communicate to your car, which incidentally also communicates to you. Human is just one part of the larger piece of puzzle. So what's happened as a result is in this world of interconnected devices, in this world of Internet of Things, cybersecurity is a huge, huge challenge. Cybercrime is huge. It's all pervasive. Like technology is all pervasive, cybercrime is also equally pervasive. From IP theft to identity theft to embezzlement of money. Various hues, various shades of cybercrime is seen across the world. And in fact, if you ask me, the dens of cybercrime are not the big cities, the big metros. In fact, it is the smaller towns. I don't know how many of you have watched this series. I think it's on Netflix called Jamtara. Have you? In fact, I'll just narrate a small story. A friend of mine who had just watched Jamtara, we were all sitting and chatting one day and he tells me, I'm embarrassed to share this story with you, but I'm going to say this anyway, is what he said. We were all very curious, intrigued. So we asked him what it was about. He said, I watched this whole series on Netflix the other day, just a couple of days ago. And then, suddenly when I'm at my home, I receive a message from a cousin in the US. saying, I am in urgent need of 1 lakh rupees from his phone number, from his cousin's phone number, which he had stored on his phone, so he wouldn't think otherwise, right? So he got a message saying, I am in dire need of 1 lakh rupees. And this man, being a very nice, compassionate cousin, he said, okay, I'm going to send the 1 lakh, and immediately, without even thinking twice, he just simply sent the money across through Google Pay, UPI, whatever technology that there is. And next day, in the family group, his cousin sends a message saying, listen, my phone has been hacked, so if any of you got any messages, please ignore. But damage is already done. And out of shame and out of guilt, out of whatever, out of fear of being ridiculed, my friend did not share this with anybody but us. Of course, we ridiculed him later, that's a different story. The point is, this whole sense of shame, ridicule, and also integrity in terms of, see, if you're a enterprise, if you are an industry, if you're an enterprise, obviously, if the word goes out that your systems are compromised, you're worried about the integrity of the data, the integrity of your processes, etc. So therefore, it becomes extremely important. And when DG was talking, when CP was talking, I was listening in very, very carefully. And of course, when Mohan Reddy Garu was mentioning that awareness needs to be promoted. How many of you here in this room know that there is a common toll-free number to report cybercrime? Anybody? I mean, not the police officers, of course. Come on, man. Anybody other than police officers who actually know that there is a countrywide toll-free number? Not a single one of us. Thank you, man. I think you're also a policeman without the uniform. Thank you. 1930. That's the toll-free number. Unfortunately, even I was not aware till I walked in here. 1930. In case there is a cybercrime, how effectively we use 100. I think 1930 needs to be populated. As Mohan Reddy Garu was saying, awareness, unfortunately, is lacking. Secondly, the problem, the conundrum, the dilemma from a government perspective. If we see increased reporting, if we see increased filing of FIRs, there is that lurking fear that the media will say the crime has increased in the city of Hyderabad, in the state of Telangana. But the fact is, if it is unreported, while the crime may have happened, if it is unreported, you're just living in denial. There is crime still happening. It's just that it is not reported. So the dilemma from a government perspective, from a lawmaker perspective is, do we then glorify the numbers? Do we then say that more reporting is happening? Is it a good thing, bad thing, etc.? But I think what's extremely important is that we build institutions that outlast individuals. See, all of us who are seated on this podium here, or those who are seated right in front of us, I think we are all ephemeral, we are all temporary. We're all going to give, a way to the future order. The fact is, unless we build institutions which will outlast us. See, for instance, Cyberabad Security Council was conceptualized by Mahendra Reddy Garu when he was Cyberabad Commissioner. And today, look at it. It's thriving, it's growing, and it is building COEs, it is adding new dimensions to governance. That's why we need to build institutions that outlast individuals. That's why we need governance models where processes become more important than people. Processes have to be more important. When I say process, I don't mean just a data flow chart or a flow chart. What I mean is a simple intervention. Our Telangana police has done an extremely appreciable job when it comes to drunk driving. Today, there is not a single soul in Hyderabad, not a single soul in the city who's not scared, about driving after they've taken a drink. Because इससे पहले क्या होता था? कहीं पुलिस रोकते थे, हम बोलते थे मालूम मैं कौन? अब नहीं बोल सकते. कहीं को नहीं बोल सकते? कैमरा लगा हुआ है. मालूम मैं कौन? वो भी आता टीवी पे. Simple intervention, very simple intervention, but that has become a process which has basically taken the individual discretion out of the equation. Now, these are the sort of interventions, these are the sort of simple inputs that make governance more and more credible. Those are the things. Body-worn cameras by police. How do they help? People are, as a normal person, as a normal citizen, people are not very happy when police call them. आप पुलिस स्टेशन आके कंप्लेंट लिखवाओ, डरते हैं. मैं सीधी बात बोल रहा हूँ, बुरा ना मानो पुलिस ऑफिसर्स कोई भी. लोग डरते हैं, आज भी स्टिग्मा है, आज भी डरते हैं, आज भी कोई खुशी खुशी पुलिस स्टेशन तो नहीं आता. प्लीज करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग. या द पॉइंट इज व्हाट हैपेंस इज द यूनिफॉर्म, the power that comes with it, the responsibility that comes with it. Sometimes some people take it to their head. As a result, I'm not talking about IPS officers alone, I'm talking about general uniform wearing services. What happens as a result is citizen is looked at as a subject, an object, not as a human being who actually is in pain. As a result, a lot of times the human element, the human face of government is missing. But when you wear a body, when there is a camera on your body, you're conscious that there is somebody in the control room who's watching me, how I behave with the citizen, and how the citizen is engaging with me. Why are these things needed? Because these are needed. The checks and balances in the system are absolutely needed to make sure that we deliver better governance. So my compliments again to DG, to the entire police force on effecting these very, very important, simple but important changes. More importantly, coming to the topic at hand, I think proactive policing, of course, and usage of technology, I think is something that we cannot do without. I'm really, really happy because when I was in the US a few years ago, I had met Ajay Banga, the then CEO of MasterCard. Me and Jayesh, we all met him in New York. So Ajay told us, Ajay actually went to school in Hyderabad Public School. So Ajay told us, on a good day, the MasterCard server gets hit at least 30,000 times by hackers. On a good day. On a bad day, it could be as much as 500,000. So imagine the kind of threat we are living under right now. Each of our systems is supremely vulnerable. So what do we do? How do we do? Because as in more reliance on networks, as in more reliance on 5G services, 6G services, the proliferation of technology, this is going to be a huge challenge. So therefore, I compliment the CP of Cyberabad on this wonderful initiative because I think it's important that he brought all the stakeholders together, industry, academia. I met with the Dean of Nalsar. I also met with, of course, IIIT and IIT deans. And I'm really impressed with what I saw here. Of course, the number of policemen and women who have been trained as cyber warriors is limited. But I think what's more important is how quickly, as Mohan Reddy Garu said, we can do capacity building. And that can only happen with industry participating. If you join in this effort, I think we can augment our capacities, we can build our skills rather quickly. And I thank Mohan Reddy Garu for coming forward with contribution. And he said pro bono, he would do it. And I would urge all of the industry participants here and HICIA President to please take the lead to make this happen as well. Another thing I also wanted to point out, in fact, most of the victims of cybercrime actually are those who live in the cyber world, primarily the IT guys. Now, we have more than 800,000 employees in the IT sector working from Hyderabad. If you also add up a few more lakhs, who indirectly work in the IT space, I think you have more than 1 million people working out of Hyderabad alone. And I'm very confident if you actually reach out to them, Jayesh Garu, between Jayesh and DGP and the entire police force, we can actually, how we leverage village police officer system in villages, making citizen policing an integral part of policing. We can do something very similar here. We can actually have these employees in the IT sector work with us, help us, guide us, evolve, skill, upskill and reskill as we move along the path of evolution. My humble request to you, you've also mentioned that, your team had also mentioned that you're working with MSMEs, trying to assess their capabilities, vulnerabilities, etc. But please do it in tandem with Industries Department. Because we are having several facilitation councils. We have district industry officers. We can work with you. We can actually sensitize the entire MSME ecosystem, make them more robust, ensure that they build capabilities to thwart any cyber attacks on them. Let me also quickly compliment you on coming out with SOPs. I loved what I saw. When I said individuals need not be looked at, but institutions need to be built. I loved the fact that you've built SOPs. And I also loved the fact that you actually recognized and applauded your policemen and women who have actually written those SOPs. I think that deserves a big round of applause for the CP Cyberabad. What I also liked in the tour is the policy advocacy bit. CP Cyberabad was telling me that, we're not only going to be proactive in terms of ensuring crimes do not happen, but we also are promoting policy advocacy through, say, for example, KYC, KYC norms to enterprises. Likewise, policy interventions to the government as well, various agencies of the government. That's extremely important. I know Nal sir has been working on drafting, Balakrishna Reddy garu is here. They've been drafting a piece of legislation on cybercrime. And Telangana will become the first state in the country to have drafted a piece of legislation on cybercrime. We will make it happen. Please send it across quickly so that we can make it happen. Likewise, I just have 3 requests. While they may not be directly relevant to this meeting today, I think these are 3 very, very important requests. And as a citizen, as a father, and also as a lawmaker, I urge Home Minister Saab and DGP Garu to make this happen. Recently, I had received a request from a lady called Sunita Krishnan, who runs an NGO, who is a very popular, NGO that is, to create a list of sexual offenders, a registry of sexual offenders in our city, in our state. I think it's extremely important to keep our children, keep our women, keep our boys, everybody safe. So therefore, I urge Home Minister Saab, आप इस sexual offenders का registry बनाइए. उनको एक बार वो registry में शामिल होने के बाद, उनको कहीं भी employment नहीं मिलना चाहिए, उनको कहीं भी आगे जाके कोई सुविधा ऐसा नहीं मिलना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जिससे वो फायदा ले सके. तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूं सर कि आप और डीजीपी साहब सेक्सुअल ऑफेंडर रजिस्ट्री जल्द से जल्द ला लें. और दूसरी बात, I'm always fascinated with technology which has a positive societal impact. Couple of years ago, along with Scient, we had done a wonderful hackathon, like hackathon. We had run a drone event, and in which, in fact, 2 young women came forward and had demonstrated some brilliant capabilities. They had come forward, and what they had done is basically, they had shown how a drone can be used as a first responder in the case of a distress. So for instance, if there is a young woman somewhere in the middle of the night, and if she's encountered some rowdy elements or sexual offenders, whoever, all she has to do is click a button, an SOS button on her phone, and drone will take off from the nearby police station as the first responder with a siren blaring, with a camera embedded and with a light inside. Now, because the police obviously will take time to navigate through the traffic, cutting across the lanes, etc., that might cost a few precious moments and precious time. So therefore, the first responder, if that drone is already there and if it is capturing, all of that is happening on the ground with a siren blaring, it will serve as a huge deterrent. I request DGP Garu, Home Minister Garu, to kindly ensure that this happens. Now I believe the Telangana Academy of Aviation is in charge of this project. Equipment is all with them, so we can take it up and we can make it happen really, really quickly. मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ सर, ये भी जल्द से जल्द आप मुकम्मल कर देंगे तो बहुत ही अच्छा नाम मिलेगा तेलंगाना राज्य को पूरा हिंदुस्तान में, and it will become a role model for the rest of the country as well. And lastly, sir, let me quickly add, like I said, no initiative will ever be successful and it will ever have scale if the citizens do not participate. So let's promote 1930. Let's promote the concept of cyber warriors. Let's ensure the people from different walks of life become a part of this wonderful Cyberabad initiative, Cyberabad Police Initiative, the Center of Excellence on Cyber Safety. I look forward to interacting more and more, and I promise you that from the industry side, from the IT side, we'll do whatever it takes to make our state more and more safe. Thank you. Jai Telangana.